Any more coffee?
Hello, I'm Sarah. We are live. All right, welcome everyone to our weekly ThrivEvolution crypto / DeFi call. Um, who needs coffee? Okay. Oh, I've got a background noise from my computer. That's what's tripping me out. Okay, so welcome, you guys. We're really excited for this week's call. As some of you have noticed, we have shifted the time space of how we're doing our calls. Before, we would have the first hour of Sean and the Digital Business Mastery as some free education, and then we would go into another hour of the Crypto Tribe call. But because we're really working on time efficiency and collaboration, and since we absolutely adore working with Sean and the coaches in the DBM Academy, we've decided to join the calls. So instead of two separate calls, we're doing one big, beautiful call together to help get some education, some updates, to see what's happening in the crypto space, in the DeFi world, and how it's going to benefit you and in your life within the ThrivEvolution and your life personally. So today I'd like to welcome all of our Titans that are on the call, as well as the DBM coaches, and we're so excited to get today started. We have some of our teammates from the Shillit team today, and we really are excited to get them to present and share what's going on in Shillit land. And we'll do that in a few moments because we've got some launches happening, we've got some NFTs happening. And as we all know, the blockchain is a big, big, beautiful universe. And the ThrivEvolution is growing exponentially on the blockchain. So if you don't know about crypto or the blockchain, it's a good time to learn. And where are you going to learn? Honestly, well, our DVM coaches are an absolute essential item for you guys to learn with. So I'm gonna pass it over really quickly to Alessio to give us a quick update of what's happening in the blockchain world and with the ThrivEvolution.
Okay, so welcome everybody. It's nice to be here with you guys as always. Today we are going to discuss a bit about what's coming next on our ThrivEvolution world. So as you probably know, we are going to build our own blockchain, and the reason for that is that we need we have a very huge ecosystem that we are building. It needs its own space, so we are going to build a private Ethereum fork blockchain, which means that it's not private on the sense of being just for us, but every blockchain that it's not Ethereum, it's called private. That's the reason. You know, there is just one Ethereum public network. All the rest of them, even if they are the same networks, are private ones. So with that said, what we are going to build is an entire set of platform and services on the blockchain that we are going to build. So I don't know if you are familiar with another blockchain which is called Shillit, and that blockchain is built for entertainment, for sports. So clubs from all over the world are participating on that blockchain, and they launch their own tokens on that blockchain, and they will eventually hit the market hugely because of centralized exchange like Gate.io or Binance or KuCoin, and there are a bunch of them. You know, they all serve the same purpose. So this is the idea behind building our own blockchain, because the intention here is to facilitate the transaction first with a very low gas fee, and we cannot do it on other blockchains like Ethereum or whatever. And we want to have a governance system which is going to be a decentralized autonomous organization called a DAO, which govern all the entire ecosystem using the famous voting power. So what does that mean? It means that if you own tokens of the blockchain, of the ThrivEvolution blockchains, you can participate on the voting of new ideas, of new platform, of new services, and so on. And also you can participate on voting on the functionalities of that services or platform. So this is pretty much the background we are going to create, and we are going to do it probably in between the next 6 months. Not everything, of course, but you know, at least the basement, at least the foundation of what's going to be built on top of the blockchain. So with that said, it was just an introduction of what's going to be built as a blockchain level, and we can enter you know, specifics, services and platforms later, maybe on this call, but this is all about the blockchain. So obviously, when you talk about the blockchain, you talk about having a coin that rule the blockchain, that manage the blockchain, that can, you know, create engagement, create economy, and create also some system of governance. So what else can I say about that?
You're doing great. Thank you, Alessio. So, you know, one of the questions actually just popped up was someone doesn't even know what DeFi is. So, you know, Alessio, what is DeFi? How do you define DeFi? Because someone just asked that question in a chat somewhere that I saw.
Oh, what's DeFi? DeFi is basically DeFi is the new economy, you know, because until now the economy was based on what was based on banks, you know. Yeah, so as soon as you have a bank, you know, managing all the funds, you have a centralized system that dictate the rules of your funds at some degree. And we have had cases, for example, Argentina, Venezuela, where the banking system just crashed and all your savings are gone because there is no supporting of that, you know. What DeFi is doing is removing this intermediation from the equation. So no more banks. So how can you maintain a system without banks? Because at some degree, banks create trust. So how can you create the same level of trust without banks? It's using the blockchain, because on blockchain, everything is transparent and everything is written on the blockchain. Every transaction is there. So that create a trustless environment where I can share, I can send, for example, 1 Ethereum to you, and I don't need to go to a bank for it, because the blockchain itself validated the transaction with many others, peers, user on that same transaction, which are going to see the transaction, and they are going to, you know, and they're going to validate it in a way that it cannot be any different. You know what I mean? Is like if 9 persons tells you that, the transaction is valid, and one person tells it's not, the transaction is valid because it's the majority of it. So this is how it works. And this is how you create DeFi. So DeFi is a trustless, basically is a trustless transaction system where that removes banks from the equation. That's what DeFi is, on a very basic level. And then on top of that, you create a bunch of different structures and services, but it will need a lot of time to explain all of that. So the basic is no more banks, because banks are, like Robert says, banks are about to collapse, and they are going to lose trust in this year. So, and they know it, and they are trying to stay, alive, but they are losing the battle because blockchain are going to change them forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, it's good to stay, and Robert's making a good point. It's really good to stay up to date of what's happening in the centralized banking system, because they know that they're losing ground, and they know that they're losing power, and that the decentralized finance industry is in the blockchain is growing exponentially. So, this is one of the big things that people need to get involved with. And a book that Jay, our dear founder of the ThrivEvolution, has recommended for everyone to read. If you can't read it because it is a massive Bible, then audiobook it. Okay, just saying. But you need to get into the blockchain revolution. If you haven't read it or listened to it, Jay, I'm gonna pick on you for a sec to tell everyone the importance of. I've even listened to it, and that's it's a big book. But Jay, I want you to pipe in for a sec just to tell everyone your opinion of the Blockchain Revolution book.
Awesome.
Well, it's knowledge is power. And when we understand the blockchain and we understand what it can do, we can understand who we are and what the movement is capable of doing. So we have a titan who, life is busy. We all have a lot of information to consume. And so how do we prioritize what information? It's like Sophie's Choice these days because there's so much coming at us. But knowing that the internet did what the internet did, and many experts say that the blockchain will do even more, certainly got my attention. And it needs to get everyone's attention because it is already and will continue to change the way that we live, the way that we work, the way that we interact as humans. And it very much informs our movement and how we're able to scale change and transformation in a way that we never were before. And without understanding the technology, it's very difficult to understand our thought patterns and the way we're looking at our structures, our infrastructure, our teams, how we're building out content. It's completely different than we would have done in other models. And so it's essential for those that are part of the ThrivEvolution to understand it. Now, I love to dive deep because that's me. But there's lots of Cole's notes and Reader's Digest versions out there on the internet. A 20-minute TED Talk by the author as well. On our YouTube channel, if you go under the Crypto Tribe playlist, you'll find it there, Don Tapscott. That's 20 minutes. And you'll have a really, really good idea, at least why you want to learn more. But the blockchain revolution is for people that really understand the innovations that are driving humanity at the moment. And the way I see it is the blockchain is either going to use you or you're going to use it. And if you don't know it or understand it, then you're not able to leverage it and really participate with it in a healthy way. And most people will be using blockchain in the next several years without even knowing they're using it. So why not dive in and really understand its implications so that you can get ahead of the tsunami that's coming in the blockchain space? And the blockchain revolution is, I believe, even if you just listen to a small fraction of it, life-changing. And obviously that's what we're wanting to do here, is greatly impact not just our communities and our provinces or our nations, but we're wanting to make a big impact on humanity globally at large and quickly at scale. And we can do that with blockchain. And so we want as many people to understand that infrastructure as possible, because it's nothing we've ever seen before. And the experts will inspire you to know more. And I think Don Tapscott, I mean, it's arguably even outdated at this point. That's how fast the technology moves and how fast we're learning about it. So there's lots of resources that we'll put together continually for those who are just tuning in. But for those of you that are a little more on the hardcore side, go Blockchain Revolution, like dive in, and then you'll really, really open up a world that is incredibly exciting.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jay.
Karita?
So, oh yeah, Christine, go ahead.
I took up the challenge to get through that book. All right. I started listening at Christmas. And I have to tell you, the preface, when he talks about what the book covers and all those different things, my brain's going, oh my God, oh wow. Right. And I'm thinking I'm in the content because of all the information he's sharing in the beginning. And then all of a sudden the voice says, chapter 1. And I just cracked up going, oh, wow, like I'm not even in it. And I'm thinking like my brain's going like this. So if you get the chance, use Audible, listen to it, because it makes your brain work in an entirely different space. And it gets the creative juices going outside of the system that we're in. And that's what we're in the business of doing, creating a new system. So take up Jay's challenge, go read the book or listen to it. It's amazing.
The other one, Christine, that I saw Moira just put in the chat, The Creature from Jekyll Island.
I've read that one. Yeah.
Brilliant. And, you know, and we'll probably have him speaking at the ThrivEvolution Summit. So we'll all get to know him. He's a character. He's a really interesting guy. And to get to know the characters behind a lot of these books is really vital too, because we get to understand the innovators, but the change makers ultimately that they are. And what we do and what they do is look at the problems. In his particular case, the problem created around our wealth systems, and they're incredibly sideways would be a gentle way of saying it. And when we understand the deep problems and issues that we face in that sector, we really want to know the solutions. And I love that about just the practical approach to it all. You know, when we deeply understand the problems that we face intimately and we can dissect them relatively non-emotionally at this stage in the game, we have to be very tactical and strategic about how we prepare ourselves for this huge shift that we're in financially. And a lot of people are scared of say crypto or blockchain because they don't know it. They don't understand it. It's the unknown. It's new. But I find when people really understand the problem, when they read The Creature from Jekyll Island, they become so much more engaged in understanding what is the solution to that. So another really good one for people is Mike Maloney and the Hidden Secrets of Money. And that's a docuseries. And that really helps people to understand the hot water that we are in, and it's only getting worse. And it's fairly timely. And there's a lot of us who've known about it for a long time that are, you know, strongly urging and encouraging people to understand so that we can all form the solutions together. And there's a couple other ones, I won't mention them, but start with those ones. And then definitely look in the Crypto Tribe playlist on our YouTube channel, if someone can put our YouTube channel in, and see some of the ones that have been saved in there, and just start rolling up your sleeves and learning. And instead of taking it as a hit, like I know many people feel like they get punched in the stomach when they watch the Hidden Secrets of Money, but it's empowering to know that there's already solutions in hand and teams and tribes of people set up to support the shift, and with that knowledge and with the academy. So it's not like it was when I learned about it 4 years ago, where you're going, what's the answer? You know, we really have a good grasp on the solutions already. And, you know, we don't have to kind of wonder because of blockchain, we're able to look at the solutions. And Christine, I love what you said about the creative element. It really gets the creative juices going. And when all of us put our hands on deck and on the table to find the solutions, it gets really exciting because in the blockchain crypto DeFi space, it's limitless. It's limitless. And so it gets really, really exciting. So I hope we will dive in on the education. We'll just continue to bring that here on this call. So I just want to thank everyone who's joining us as well. This is quite the journey that we're on together. And as I look around and see all these remarkable faces, all of the amazing DBM coaches, I want to just really honor all of you guys and all the work that you guys are doing in this space to onboard people safely and to care for them. And we're really honored and excited to be teaming up with you in a bigger way in 2022.
Thank you, Jay. And we're gonna have Sean share some stuff, some awesome education in a short bit. But I just wanted to shift over to present Tiggs, and he is representing our Shillet team today, and from the Crypto Tribe, and he's going to be sharing with us some updates, some amazing things that are happening in the NFT land of the Shillet project. So Tiggs, we are so blessed to have you on today. I know that Ravi was also going to be participating, but he's not feeling good today. So Tig is stepping up and taking lead, and we're so grateful. So Tiggs, what's happening in Shilletland?
So a lot is happening, and we are going to be launching our own NFTs very soon. And I think that perhaps I need to explain a little bit what is NFTs. So the NFTs is a token, which is basically the name is non-fungible token. And it's basically a unit of data stored on a blockchain. So it provides a digital ledger, which is basically a public certificate for proof of ownership of that data. It can be a photo, video, audio, it can be a lot of things. And now we are reaching a new revolution in the space where the NFTs are starting to have a use case scenario. So it's no longer like the NFT that got sold for $11 million, which is just basically an image pixelated, and the value of it's just because it is a very rare NFT in that collection. But now we're reaching another system where you can use the NFTs as characters in the games that you play on the blockchain. You can use the NFTs, for instance, to buy. You can buy an NFT which is a billboard. You can place on your plot of land in the metaverse, and then you can rent the space for the billboards. So you get returns from having that billboard as an NFT placed on your metaverse, because people will want to advertise. And so there's a new revolution. The whole space is growing with new use cases. So we have like also starting this last month, the first thing starting to show up is the NFTs. You can actually now, with certain projects, you can go to an app, place your NFT, and gain back liquidity. So for instance, if you want to get liquidity to do a trade, you can already do that with certain NFTs. So that is creating a whole new world of possibilities of what to do with NFTs. They can even represent a plot of land, a real plot of land in our world. They can represent a proof of ownership for real things. It's not just not internet things, but real things also. And so we, in our project in Chile, we decided to launch our own NFT collection. So we started by saying, everyone, when we launch our NFTs, we promised the good holders that are with us and the investors that are with us, we promised them a golden ticket, which will allow them to mint one of the MetaDegen Society NFTs for free. Our collection is based from 9,999 different pictures, which is all based of the MetaDegen Society. And we will soon be launching that on the Solana network. The choice of the network is just because the dApps that are providing liquidity for the NFTs are exactly on that network. And also, if you have one of our NFTs, they will unlock certain special pages and special functions in our Shillet app, to be announced later. And also they allow for certain channels and communications and information in our Discord server. So whoever holds an NFT can unlock those features. let me try to find an image.
Yes. So those who check out the website, it's the Meta Degen Society that Alessio put on there, just so you know, we have that link on there.
So our Methodist Societies has a little story behind it. So they're basically the gaming degens and DeFi degens of our cryptoverse that gave the image for these new characters. Let me share quickly my screen. And so meet the Meta Degen Society. These are our characters that will show that that make up our collection. And we'll be launching soon is the golden ticket, which will allow you to mint an NFT for free. The golden ticket will be basically in half will be half the price of the actual NFT, giving an opportunity for people that aren't shillet holders since the beginning to also have a chance of getting a promotion on the price for the NFTs.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tiggs, for sharing that. It's so good to get updated what's going on in the Shillet project. We're really excited. So now that we got updated, thank you again.
If I can ask, Tiggs, sorry, Rita, to interrupt you, but there is a specific reason of why we are going with the Solana network. And Tiago, you know better than me why we are going that way. And that's because there is this new opportunity of monetizing your NFT, which lies on the Solana network. And if you have the possibility, I would like you to explain it a bit, what I'm talking about the Solvent project.
So it is, it's basically a dApp that allows you to deposit. So it's basically it's like a DeFi app, but instead of using cryptocurrencies, for instance, if you have Ethereum, you can place in a dApp and they'll lend you money. And so you don't have to sell your Ethereum to get some liquidity to do other trades or to use that liquidity for something else. And what is happening in the Solana network is that we are now reaching a point where there is dApps that you use your NFT, you place your NFT in the dApp, so it's there saved, and they lend you the money. So they will pay you the basic floor price for that collection. So if the floor price for the NFT is like 3 times higher than what you paid for the NFT, instead of selling to be able to use that margin of profit regarding the price where you bought it, you just place the NFT in that dApp and they lend you the money. Afterwards, when you pay back the money, they give you back the NFT.
So it remembers me. I was on the page Brookman. I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly your name, my friend. But I was on your meeting yesterday, and I was listening to this Nexo platform that you guys are using, and it, and Solvent reminded me of the Nexo platform, but for NFT at some degree. So there is a correlation what Nexo is doing, so it can allow you to like put your Ethereum or Bitcoin or Tether on collateral and use and borrow monies to do other operation without having to sacrifice your own cryptos. So on this case with Solvent, you basically are doing the same, but instead of having cryptos, you have NFT, which look at it, you may have bought the NFT collection at the launch, and then the floor price went up. And if I understand correctly, they are going to give you money up to the floor price instead of what you paid for the NFT. So it's a very interesting thing if you think about it as well. So just another way to use your NFT instead of just holding and selling like cryptos, until now. So yeah, that just this, and I'm done with the comment.
Thank you, Alessio. So I'm going to gracefully pass it over to Sean now, and we would love to hear from Robin and Moira too. Once you've shared a little bit of your education, we would love to hear from your coaches today, and to share some amazing things. I personally had an emergency come up and I have to step out. So thank you guys. I'm still going to keep listening from the background, but I'm really looking forward to watching the replay.
No problem at all, Teresa, no problem at all. So yeah, this new format I think works pretty well. What you've just heard there for the first 20 minutes of this call is brilliant, and a classic example of the full spectrum of what's possible now that we have this technology, and all of us are still wrapping our arms and our heads around this. But in case you don't know, myself and with the DBM Academy, we spotted this a long time ago. We were part of that process of discovery and making lots of mistakes and getting in our own way and getting wrapped up in all sorts of complications. So we figured out that we needed to put things in a sequence. And it is very much about, first of all, financial education. That's where you've got to start. Listen to what Jay said. Get your arms around the issue of the last 50 years of a full fiat system. Recognize that for what it is. And it just makes it a whole lot easier then to understand why you would even bother starting to move through the gears to what we've just ended up talking about there with Tegs and Alessio, which is the most cutting edge end of this technology as we sit right now in early 2022. So obviously you don't go there. If you're starting out, what you do is you get on the conveyor belt at the beginning where you're at, and you go through the beginning process. What's a wallet? What's an exchange? What even is blockchain? What are tokens? Why would you even own them? What are digital assets? What's liquidity? Then you find yourselves in intermediate territory, decentralized finance, automated market making, trading, looking at how you can create cash flows from your knowledge. And then you end up with advanced. And what Alessio and Tiggs were talking about is very much where not only are we at as an industry early 2022, but between DBM and Thrive Tribes and other partners, we're actually creating our own solutions of what's called wealth redistribution. And that's all done off the back of real world utility and real world purpose. And if there is no better example, I don't believe, than the Thrive Tribes communities coming together with all their different purposes to be able to create a greater good that then lives on a rail. So we call it a rail. And the rail is how everything connects. And that's what the blockchain basically is. It's a way of everybody being immutably connected for the greater good. So I'm a massive fan of that. I know Alessio and obviously Jay and the rest of the leaders team, we're very, very aware of it. And we're blessed, frankly, that within just a very short period of time, we've been able to start to spin. And the gravity field that's been created is what you're now experiencing when it comes to what ThrivEvolution represents. So we're putting all that together. Now, from my side, as much as we're involved in all that sophistication and all the things that we've got our own personal portfolios and we're leveraging cash flows and we've got all the ownership and we're basically serial tech investors. For all that, it's great. But my opinion is, and my humble opinion is, you can't be out there on your own. You've got to give back. It doesn't work unless you're creating demand. That's what tokenomics is. It's about owning, using, and endorsing. So with that said, what we can do just for the last few minutes of this call is just to start to warm up the community to what's coming with the academy, which is a term we use for where people can go to learn how to step onto the conveyor belt. And that is very much what we've been focused on for the past 18 months or so from our side at DBM. And we're obviously now taking that model and white labeling it, we're skinning it into other communities. And one of those communities is Thrive Tribes. And I'm blessed that in me starting to turn that gravity field, we've pulled together lots and lots of people from all over the world, which is key because we need to help the world here. Yeah, we've pulled together lots and lots of people from all over the world, and they've basically graduated to a point where they have learned such a lot on their own journey of discovery down this conveyor belt that they're now able to give back themselves, and we call these people coaches. And there's a number of them on this call live with us right now. And if you're watching this on a recording, then you know, that's the place to pick up some of the little snippets and nuggets that you're going to hear them talk about right now. We've already had Alicio mention this new phenomenon where we're able to take certain facets of blockchain technology, certain tools, certain pieces of leverage, frankly, and put them to work for us. So Tiggs was talking about that in terms of what you're able to do on the Solano contract now, that particular blockchain. It's all linked together. You're able to take these steps to leverage assets and put them to work for you. Now that is the focus. It's getting as many people to understand as possible the problem with the fiat system, how you can now move to be diversified away from that, because we can't vote our way out of that system. We'll be long gone by the time they change the system on behalf of the people. The people have to change the system on behalf of themselves. And one of the ways we do that is to leverage platforms like Nexo and whatnot. So coaches, all I want to do for this session in the next couple of weeks, because we intend to launch the Academy, as you know, imminently, certainly by early February. So all we're going to do with these next couple of sessions at this call is bring the coaches in just to have them help us and bring up their own experience and introduce themselves, so that when you're working in the academy, you get to know who these people are well ahead of time, and you're able to start to get the rubber on the road. So I'm just going to leave it pretty relaxed, coaches. You enter the fray here and just introduce yourself and let us know where your passions are and where you feel you're able to help because of what you've experienced over the past few years, and let's get the academy nice and warmed up, ready for launch in a couple of weeks. Anybody want to contribute first?
I'll go first if you like. I live in Scotland on a tiny little island, so you know, if I can do this, anybody can. I'm also an author, so I very much resonate with all the we're talking about books, and I think there's a, you know, we can't vote our way out of this, as Sean says, but there's a huge appetite around the world now with everything that's going on for change. You know, people are looking for change, but most of them still don't know what they don't know. So education is key. Education is absolutely key in this space. I still talk to people every day who ask me, what is blockchain? So, you know, the DBM Academy, we have a huge range of different people from all over the world that have come together and providing education about everything from setting up wallets to NFTs that we were talking about a minute ago. So there's a huge appetite for this, and I think we're all in the right space. We just need to, you know, keep working together, and let's really make this happen.
Absolutely, appreciate that, Robin. Myra, how's things?
Hi, great, great, good to see you all. So yeah, like that, you know, the Academy has been built with a number of coaches who, like Robin, Paige, Hal, Pam. I've been working with these guys for 3 full years, literally since I dipped my toes in and read that blockchain, listened to the Blockchain Revolution 3 years ago. I've been working full time in this space. It's a great honor to work with such like-minded people and with such trust. there's one thing about this business and one thing about this space is you have to know, like, and trust the people that you work with and that you educate with and that you understand with. These guys I know, love and trust. We seriously are like a big family. I dipped my toes into this. My mom introduced me 3 years ago. I left working in healthcare after the hospitality industry for 21 years. I left working in the healthcare industry after I had my little boy, and it literally, I was working 100 hours a week my whole life. I have business degrees. I opened up restaurants all over the world. I work for millionaires. I never had the financial education that I now have. So I specialize, we all have our own different areas of interest. I really love working with beginners to help people get set up. I do a lot of work around security, around setting up things properly, because we've all been burnt. We've all come in the wrong projects, listening to the wrong people, but also forgotten to do certain setup things, or ran into projects looking at coins and buying them because they're the next best thing. So helping people get out of the mentality of the lotto ticket kind of thing, because this is here to stay and there's so much longevity in it. And if you get the foundations right, you can build as many skyscrapers as you want on top of it. So I will be running my workshop at 8 o'clock tonight. So that's in a couple of hours time. And that's blockchain and crypto for beginners. And I know that the other guys here do it as well. So come along to as many free workshops as you want. We also have an amazing project, our program that we're doing at the moment as well, which is 3 months to cash flow. I won't go into detail about it, but if you're interested in learning how to cash flow out of assets, we have been running this very successfully for 5 months now, and it's a lot of fun working with these guys as well. So that's me.
Fantastic, fantastic. And we're going to have a little crypto baby coming along very soon as well, aren't we, Myra? Little birdie told me, so we look forward to that as well. Good stuff.
I'll jump in, Sean, and as a fellow coach, it's just nice knowing that Myra loves me.
Somebody has to, mate.
That's right. That's right. Just a quick background. I studied finance in school and then spent 15 years working on the stock market, working as a broker. I live in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. After that, I actually started a couple of businesses from scratch, and I ended up selling both. So I feel like the expertise that I can bring to the blockchain space is just that, on the financial application side. And so with platforms like Nexo, it's a great way to leverage your assets. But more importantly, as we grow in this space, it's going to become more and more important that you properly allocate your assets into different areas and not, get so excited we go all into crypto. I mean, you have to do other things along the way, but even within crypto, you need to reallocate your sources to stable coins and various projects so that you're not all at one end of the risk scale. And so we help you do that. And that's part of the strength I can help bring to platforms or individual conversations with investors.
Yeah, it's probably one of the things that I'm certainly most grateful for, that we do have increasing numbers of experienced individuals coming into the community from traditional finance, and that for me is a great vindication of what's going on. We're big followers of Michael Saylor. That's another name you may want to start to think about following. Bank to the Future, the guys over in the Isle of Man, not too far away from where I am here. These guys are spearheading what's going on, and it's manifesting itself in things like volcano bonds in El Salvador and what's going on in terms of tokenizing gross domestic products. So we speak about tokenizing non-fungible tokens. I'm going back to the advanced end of the spectrum a little bit here, but when you understand what that is as a stepping stone, what's going on with what Tig's talking about is a key part of that step. It's not too much then of a realization to start to understand how to tokenize gross domestic product. And once you're doing that, then you're realizing that you're a contributor as an individual person in your own home. You're a contributor to a wealth transfer. And it's that bit, that's the nuance, that's the step that is still yet to be it's not about not being understood, because obviously the traditional finance people aren't stupid, but it's not in their interests to open up the gates yet. So the smart money is aware of it, but it's just not acting yet. And that's our way in. This is what Alicia was talking about before. It's about getting in front of that move. And I've had people like Paige around who many years inside traditional finance and then sees the power of something like Nexo, just to name one platform, because you've got Celsius, you've got BlockFi, you've got Alchemix, you've got what's going on with liquidity NFTs that Tig was talking about. If there's one thing for you more intermediate people that I would suggest you start to investigate, it's exactly that realm. And tracking people like Paige, who every Wednesday does his workshop on this type of topic, specifically down to the use of Nexo, to be fair, but it's got much broader branches to it. If there's any one area that I suggest intermediate people get stuck into, it's exactly that, because that's where it's headed. Any thoughts on that, Alicia or Tiggs?
I think you explained it perfectly. Yes, as always, Sean.
Okay, so very interesting indeed. Now, just to segue out specifically to NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and success leaves clues, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the reason we mention these terms all the time is because we know where the market's headed. It's called letting the market come to you. So we have Hal with us as well. Again, over in the US, remember DBM is working hard to cover as many time zones as possible, predominantly English right now, but we're looking at Spanish, we're looking at Portuguese, we're looking at French, Dutch, etc. Just so you know, but we do have Hal over in the US as well, who has a big passion for non-fungible tokens. And Hal, would you like to explain your passion?
Yes, happy to. Hal Taylor, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, in the USA. And my background, I'm an engineer by education, a safety engineer, and started my career in the oil business, went to consulting, worked with Tony Robbins for 20 years. I'm glad that some of y'all have been through Date with Destiny and are going through his free workshop coming up here in the next couple of weeks, I believe it is. But worked with him for years. And also spent years in the managing the safety of all the cast members and guests at Disneyland. So understanding a spectrum of dealing with people, with Tony understanding how to overcome fears and break through limiting beliefs and get to where you want to go. And with an engineering background, when I heard about blockchain, what fascinated me actually initially was the technology. And if 4 years ago you would have mentioned Bitcoin to me, I would have said it was mythical numbers on a computer, because I didn't understand it. And once I started to research it and understand it, I got down into the basics of it and the fundamentals. And I love Sean's analogy of the conveyor belt in a factory, and making sure that people are educated fundamentally, step by step, so that when they reach that first big project or platform that they want to invest in or they want to utilize, then they have the education to act upon it. There's an empowerment that comes along fundamentally with every step of education. And that's what the DBM Academy does. We take people from the very beginner to the advanced, and we give them the next step. We give them pieces of information that they could go, oh, I could move into this. Oh, you mean I can make a monthly income with this? You mean that I can play a game with this and earn money from that? So as we start building people up and educating them through the process, we're as we identify new areas and new realms of the blockchain that probably some have been identified but haven't been fully developed, and some haven't even been thought of yet. And as those are happening, and I know Alessio and Tiggs and some others are on the cutting edge of this as well, but we are helping educate people along that process so that they can fully act in the blockchain space, in the crypto space. And very happy to be a DBM coach and very happy to be part of Thrive Tribes as well.
Absolutely, appreciate that, Hal. So yeah, DBM and Thrive Tribes are interchangeable, by the way. Okay, so all the coaches you've managed to meet today, only 4 out of the 14 we actually have as active coaches at the moment. It's interchangeable. Okay, they are holistic coaches. There's very much an agnostic nature to it. We want people to go from the beginning of the conveyor belt all the way through. And if you happen across different opportunities all the way down that conveyor belt, then that's fantastic. Okay, so you've met 4 of the active coaches out of the 14 we have right now. We're always looking for more coaches. How do you become a coach? Well, you have to go through a process. You have to, earn your spurs. All the coaches start by showing that they've got the staying power, the consistency, the knowledge, the experience by running workshops. Okay, and if you can give value to others, you'll find everything else falls into place, including any income aspirations you might have. So if you are interested in becoming a Thrive Tribes coach in any area of the Thrive Tribes community, we talk about mindset, skills, systems. They're the 3 things you need first before you get to income and wealth. So there's lots and lots of ways to create value in there. And before we open up for questions and close the call, I'd be remiss of me not to mention Jeanette, who sits quietly behind the scenes. Okay, but without Jeanette, she's the engine. She works in the engine room. She does all the organizing of building out the academy itself, the CSS, the programming, everything we need to keep the academy alive and healthy. So I just want to give a shout out to Jeanette as well. She's available right now. Jeanette's over in France. So we truly are very, very international. And we appreciate everything she does. She's absolutely amazing. Okay. So that's 4 of the, like I say, 14 coaches that you'll be coming across over the coming weeks as you start to go deeper and deeper into the Thrive Tribes Academy. And as I say, before we shut this call down and call it a day on the hour, any questions, any comments, or anybody got any thoughts about what we're doing here with the education side of Thrive Tribes? Oh, good. Okie dokie. Well, apparently I'm driving the call right now. So if that's the case, then I get the opportunity to call it a day. If everyone's happy. All right. So like I say, we're just putting the finishing touches to what the Academy represents. You are going to be able to monetize the Academy as well. Just so you know, you're going to be able to represent the courses and the programs and the greater good of what it is to go and share. We call this earning while learning, just like we earn to play, we earn to bank, we earn now to learn. We're able to do lots and lots of things that we do in ordinary life and earn. So the Academy has been built specifically for that. And we're working very hard with Alicio behind the scenes to turn that into its own entity. Listen carefully to what Alicio said about building out our own blockchain, our own tokens, our own NFTs, our own DAO, okay? And this is a next key step that I'm getting increasingly confident about because we're building the utility first. There's lots of projects out there, especially the NFT space, that will convince you of their value to come. Be very careful. What you've got to think about is where the utility is today. Put yourself in position on ownership of tokens and ownership of utility that exists today. And I think, Alicia, I'm not mistaken in saying that we're very, very close to that with a combination of what we're doing with social media, with the Thrive Hub. If you're not on the Thrive Hub, get across over there. If you're listening to this on Facebook, get across the Thrive Hub. There's much more value to be added. You can earn yourself credits for adding value to the hub. That will be converted into tokens. Those tokens then will appreciate in value because of the use case. The same thing will be done on the Academy. The same thing will be done on the news media outlets. The same thing will be done on the Thriver platform. So there's lots and lots of ways we're going to combine our efforts for the greater good of increased shared equity. That's how life should be. It shouldn't all be going to the top, to the shareholders, to the central bankers, to the governments. It should be coming redistribution. And we've got that in our gift now, thanks to what we've built here over the past couple of years. Okay. So that's the big vision. With that, if everyone's happy, we'll call it a wrap. See you same time next week, 5 p.m. UTC, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you very much. Thanks, Alicia.
So cool. He was so happy that he at the last moment he spoke about the way we have to monetize the academy. Like everybody here has the same chance to monetize the academy, because if you are a course owner, if you are a teacher, if you are an instructor, if you are a promoter, an advertiser, an advisor, you know, so you have several ways to get into the ecosystem and make profit by taking some action, you know. So it's because it's a lot of information. We just want to, you know, release information step by step, but you know, just understand that there will be some structure that allow everybody to make profit from the ecosystem. So what's Sean said, it is you know, just the fractions of what it's going to be created on the NFT space, for example. One of the idea that we have is create, you know, the bills. They will be NFTs as well. So when the user buy a course, there will be an NFT that will be created instantly and sent through email as a bill for the course that the user bought. And that NFT it has, you know, I don't know what the value of that is, but you know, the creator of NFT, there will be artists. So if at some point artists will pick up, you know, on interest from the community, that NFT created and sent for free from the academy, for example, all of a sudden, you know, get some value. So, you know, it's another piece of the ecosystem that we are going to create, and we want to touch on every aspect of NFT and on blockchain, just because you don't know which one will pick up at some point. So we want to have as much coverage as possible, being very smart and being very present as much as we can. So it's a very pleasant and interesting and exciting journey with you all to go into DeFi, into blockchain, and to build something that's going to stay. You know, that's the idea, right? Because we want something to be powerful, to be usable, and to be profitable for everybody here in the community. So with this being said, I'm going to wrap up and, you know, hug you all and tell you how much I love you guys, to be here, to be present. It's an honor, as always, to be with you. And I'm going to hop off and keep creating what's going to be created. So love you all and have a very nice rest of your day. Bye-bye.